think I remember describing my life to her in the beginning as feeling as though somebody had stood in a doorway and thrown a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle on the floor, and nobody gave me a picture to try and put it back together. And what she did was help me build the picture and put it into order, and made me realise that things that had happened weren't my fault.
There were days I really truly didn't think they would go away, and you know, some days the images were so bad, it was like, how can I put the lid back on this?
Well, I'd never told anybody in 35 years about it because I didn't think I'd be believed, so it was a massive step for me to take that leap.
When you've brought up in an abusive childhood, you just accept so much because some of your boundaries have been crossed, and you just think that's just how it is, and you just think that's how it is for everybody.
Experience tells us that there will currently be, and has historically been, an awful lot of people who are experiencing sexual violence, and that's women, men and children. Our key approach is that we're a trauma-informed service, so we recognise that many of the survivors who come to us will have experienced something very traumatic and will still be very impacted by that, and so we try and help them to cope and recover.
The counsellor I saw, she was really lovely, and yeah, she definitely put me at my ease, and I felt that she understood and I didn't have to explain.
And I think it's quite a hard thing for some people to ask for help. It doesn't come naturally to me, and it didn't.
So coming here, knowing it was more specialised, it was going to deal with what I had to deal with was great. And after my first initial meeting, it was, yeah, I knew then that I was in the right place. I just needed to go with it.
Understanding the impact that somebody's been through when they've experienced sexual violence, that's so important for a survivor, as well as somebody to listen and be non-judgmental, but also to reach their goals and reintegrate into society and build their resilience so that that kind of thing doesn't happen again.
It feels like it's, without sounding dramatic, it's saved my life a bit, because you can't go through something like that necessarily on your own, even when you've got friends and family, and I'm lucky enough to have those. Sometimes talking to somebody impartial is what makes the difference, because they're not judging you, they're just there.
Yeah, and I would think, okay, my case isn't perhaps not bad enough, I'm not, you know, on my knees, I'm not an addict, I'm not, you know, this, that and the other. But I thought, no, I do have all these symptoms, I do have all these issues going on, so it's okay for me to ask for the help.
Didn't honestly know if I could do it. There was days I doubted that I could do it. But with SARSAS, you showed me I could do it. You know, with the support that was there, and with how you allowed me to work my way through it, I knew I could do it.
Some of the key parts of our ethos are listening, believing and supporting. Listening because this could be the first time somebody's ever told anybody about what's happened to them, whether they've been raped or sexually assaulted or they were abused as a child. Believing because we've got a very bad track record in this country of not believing survivors. And then supporting because the impact of trauma can be so devastating for somebody that we have to be skilled, knowledgeable, trained, supervised and supported to provide the best possible service, the most effective evidence-based services for survivors who come to us.
You know, because I had breast cancer, and I think that's very much linked to my traumatic past, in that I wasn't able to express so much. I kind of held it, and stress, I was in constant, and I thought it was normal people to be constantly stressed. And I've put lots of self-care in place. You know, I do yoga every day, which I wasn't doing before, and that really helps with the adrenaline. And doing kind of yogic breathing for me really worked, and it really helps dissipate the adrenaline, but it gives me ownership of my body at the same time.
Yeah, life is really good, really good. Yeah, can't say any more than that really. Yeah, it's really brilliant for me now. I didn't want to exist. I always told myself, I'm not just going to exist here. I want a life. I didn't know how it would be. I didn't know where the life would take me and in what way I would be better, but I knew I would. I just knew in my heart if I worked hard and dealt with it and got through it, my life would be okay. And I knew that. And I'm happier than I've ever been.
My key message to somebody who's thinking about getting support with us is that you will be believed, we will listen to you, and we're going to offer you choice and control.
You'll find a safe place here, and you will be believed, and you haven't got to explain, because I used to have that problem so many times in the past, as I would have to explain, and you haven't got to do that here.
Because we know that what happened to you was outside of your control and outside of it wasn't your choice, and therefore we know it's really important that we give that back to you.
If you've had difficult times for whatever reason, in whatever circumstance, that talking about it will eventually make you stronger and help.
I wanted to find peace in my heart, and once I could find the peace, then I could find the happiness, and that's what's happened.